Well, hello, it's Shelley, and welcome back to the She is Courageous podcast. I want to start today with a question, and it's as simple as this. How often do you find yourself saying things like, I just don't know what I want anymore? Or worse yet, I just don't trust myself to make the right decision. The thing is, we say these things all the time, like every single one of us says these things. You can't pretend you don't. And when we say them, they genuinely sound true. Like we really believe that we don't know what we want anymore and we don't trust ourselves to make the decision. Now, today's episode is about self-trust, and the title is The Real Reason You Don't Trust Yourself Anymore. And I want to offer a different lens today. It's not that I think that everybody has lost their self-trust. I think that we are all outsourcing our self-trust. What do I even mean? What is she banging on about today? We live in a world where there's always someone telling us how to do it better. There is someone that can tell us how to be more strategic, more confident, how to do things faster, use this tool, that tool, their 5-step formula. Basically, we've got everybody telling us to do things their way. And while some of that guidance is really useful, okay, I don't deny that at all. We do need to learn from others. The challenge is it can also start to drown out your own voice, literally and metaphorically. It's so damn noisy out there. I say this all the time, and I will keep saying it because I want us all to be really aware of the noise. It is no wonder that I see, and I am actually one of, there are so many capable, incredible women, just like you listening to this right now, feeling disconnected from their actual instincts. I've done an episode before about trusting your gut, self-trust, trusting your gut, inner instinct. What used to be a world filled with really useful information has become the very thing holding us back. The world is still full of very useful information. But in the old days, yes, I did just say that. In the old days, we would read a book. God, do you remember when we used to go to the library to find things out? Or we'd ask a trusted friend for advice. We'd ask someone maybe who'd already walked the path. Essentially, we'd only go to the experts if we were stuck. And the experts were perhaps someone we knew to be an expert, or we would go and seek that knowledge in places that held expert information. Here's the problem. Today, everyone is an expert, apparently. Because everyone has the ability to be an expert, or certainly to feel like they're an expert. It's no wonder we don't know who to believe. And there's a real irony to this, right? Everybody has so much information at their fingertips, they can position themselves as an expert. But equally, I think people are losing trust in themselves more than ever. And this is what I mean about it's no wonder we don't know who to believe or what to do. And the person that you trust the least ends up being yourself. Because, they might be right? They're doing the thing. They're living the life that you want to live. They're building the product that you want to build. They're building what you haven't yet, whether that's in life, in business, personally, whatever it is. And I've definitely felt this, right? I always talk in these podcasts about how this comes from my own journeys, my own experiences. I have completely experienced this, not quite trusting myself because I've got so much around me that I'm questioning whether what I'm thinking is enough or the right answer. And I don't mean in really big things, to be honest. In fact, I find it easier with big things to trust myself. It's the little day-to-day stuff that I know, that of course I know, but I find myself second guessing, checking myself, turning to AI, scrolling to see what others are doing. I already know what the answer is. I already know what I could do, but I find myself looking, is it validation? Is it that there might be a better answer? Is it that someone else probably knows better than me? I found myself sitting on decisions longer than necessary and getting confused, not because I was confused, but then getting confused because a seed of doubt has been planted. That's not intuition or instinct failing. It's me handing my authority away. So I want to name this because I don't think women lose self-trust. I think that in this world we are living in, we are slowly, quietly outsourcing our trust to mentors, experts, AI, algorithms, opinions, to what's worked for everyone else. And it doesn't feel like self-doubt at first. It feels really sensible. We're being thorough, we're being strategic, we're being responsible, we're learning. But over time, it builds hesitation. And that hesitation, that stop-start, that questioning, that spinning, that not quite sure moment is what chips away at ultimately your confidence. It's not about making a wrong decision, it's the hesitation to make any decision. And this is where courage needs to show up in a really different way. Because this is where we've got to get honest. And actually it can be quite scary, to be honest. Not just about honestly realising that I'm outsourcing my own self-trust to everybody else, but honesty about what you actually want. Honesty about the moments when you already do know, but you're just too scared to trust that. It's never about being certain. And you might be listening to this going, yeah, but I'm a perfectionist, I'm this, I'm that. Labels, they're just labels. Because actually all of those things are just further hesitation. None of us are ever certain. No one is certain. The mentors, experts, all those people you're looking at, they're not certain either. But I'll tell you what it is about. It's about being self-led. Even when you don't have the proof yet that it's the right answer, the right way, the right decision, going to give you the right outcome. Now, mindset, okay? Let's always remember all of this is about mindset. And I want to keep it really simple. Your brain is wired to seek approval. I could go into like hundreds, thousands of years of why, but fundamentally your brain is wired to seek approval. Your brain wants certainty. It wants the path of least resistance. So every time you override your gut, your self-trust to play it safe, what you're teaching your brain is don't trust that voice. That's risky. Wait for someone else to confirm it's okay. And that becomes your pattern. But the really good news is the opposite can also be true. So you can absolutely continue playing it safe, overriding your own instincts and telling yourself that's sensible, strategic and thorough, and you're just looking at what everyone else says you should do instead. But what you're doing is confirming to your brain that we have to wait for someone else to confirm it's okay. But as I say, the opposite is also true. Every time you make a decision and own it, every time you trust your gut, yourself, even if it doesn't work out, even if it's not perfect, even if it goes horribly wrong, your brain learns, oh, I can handle this. Maybe I can trust myself after all. So I don't think you've lost your self-trust. I think you've stopped listening to your self-trust. And what you have to do is to rebuild that self-trust, you've got to start listening again. You've got to start noticing differently. Now, I'm going to be really clear. Any of you that listen to this podcast regularly know I'm not about to start saying affirmations and manifestation playlists. I love an Instagram quote, but you know what? They're not going to be enough to rebuild your self-trust. They might help, okay? I'm not going to say don't do them. You do you, boo, right? You do what works for you. But my personal view is that affirmations and, all the vision boards and all those, they're all great tools and they all have a place in this wonderful thing called life, but they're not enough. You rebuild your self-trust with evidence. Tiny moments where you decide something, you act on it, and you survive, yes, I did use that word, the outcome. Because we build things up in our minds and then we chip away at our own self-trust, therefore our confidence, and we start telling ourselves we need to do what everyone else is doing. Because then actually it's someone else's responsibility if it doesn't go right. This is about personal responsibility. Tiny moments, okay? You build your evidence with tiny moments when you decide something, you act upon it, and you are okay with whatever the outcome is. You show yourself it's okay because you learn something either way. The goal is not to be right every time. The goal is to be self-led every time. That's what builds your own self-trust. So let me just round off today, this really simple, quite short episode, with just a few small tips, they're not rules, maybe reflections. I want you to really pay attention and start noticing where you're asking for permission you don't actually need. Where are you seeking someone else's answer? Where are you, like, how often do you send that quick WhatsApp, what do you think I should do? When you already know what you could do. You're just seeking permission, seeking validation. So start noticing where you are ignoring your own voice and asking for permission, validation, answers, asking for someone else's trust in you. Pay attention to the decisions that you delay. Often, like literally 99 times out of 100, the answer is already in you. This is what coaches do. Coaches help you find your answers. They're already there within you. You're just not ready to act on it yet. So pay attention to where you are delaying decisions, because that can be a really big sign. And then just choose one thing, just one small thing this week to decide without checking in with anyone else. Not to prove anything to anyone unless you want to prove a little something to you. But actually it's not to prove, it's to practice. It's to practice leading yourself. It's to practice listening to yourself. To practice just showing yourself what you can do. Showing yourself, not proving to yourself. I just want you to remember that you already know a lot more than you think you do. I say this all the time to the ladies in the She is Courageous Collective. I say it to my clients. You already know what you could do. And one of the biggest reasons we know what we could do is because there's so much information out there. You don't need to go and find any more answers. You just need to trust you. You haven't lost your self-trust. It's just buried under a lot of noise. So start small, decide something, act on it, and keep showing yourself that your voice is worth listening to. Because it is. And so are you.